They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead while I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And oh my, I like your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. I said, oh my God, I see you walking by. Take my hands, my dear, and look me in my eyes. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing my whole life. But you just beg to see me dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And oh my, I like your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. Dance for me, dance for me, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again, all again.
Hello and welcome to the first and initial race of the EERC GT Sprint Series. Today's race will be taken part just southeast of London, the capital of England. Today's event will feature a qualifying session of 15 minutes and two 45-minute races, where a dozen of competitors will be battling it out on the track in the hope of winning the races to come. On today's grid, as well as the rest of the season's grid, we'll find the newly arrived Aston Martin DA Vantage GT3, the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evolution, which went on to win the Blancpain GT Series real life this year. We'll also find the likes of the McLaren 720S GT3 car, the Audi R8 LMS non-Evo and Evolution version, Porsche 911 2 GT3R, as well as the Mercedes AMG GT3 and the almighty Ferrari 488 GT3. The track we are racing at today is another track at Brands Hatch, one if not the toughest tracks in the series, featuring plenty of elevation changes, blind corners, barely any runoff area, and corners you just have to be one of the kind in order to be quick. So let's start off this exciting series with jumping on board with Mikael, one of our drivers. Really bad. We're now 9 minutes into this 15-minute qualifying session, jumping forward, hands done, finding himself in 4th position, doing a lap time of 1:24.771, roughly 8 tenths of the leader. Going into the first turn, it's a real important turn to make it. If you go a little bit too wide, you're going to lose a lot of time, and if not going to gravel. Going into the second hairpin right here, it's really important to get on the brakes nice and early, not like that drifting around the corner. Avoiding the curbs on the inside here, and then into this quick left-hander here. It's really important to not hit the grass, but be as far right as possible, keeping it on the track, and that's probably a track elimination they've cut in the course. With that harness decided cut it. Now jumping on with Tom Roberts driving the Ferrari 4AA GT3 car number 2, correction, 52, finding himself in 8th position, roughly 1.6 seconds off the leader, with a lap time of 1 minute 25 1 minute 25 seconds, 1.5. Now going on the start and finish line, will he improve? No, he won't. He's staying in 8th position. Getting a little bit too wide out there for turn 1 there and hitting the sand. That's really going to eliminate this time there. Running wide out of the hairpin as well. That probably wouldn't cost him that much time, but still going to lose him a few tenths, and if he want to gain some tenths, then he really needs to do that. Fuck my life. Going into the last sector here, Tom Roberts really needs to put into great turns in order to gain some time in order to improve on this time. Fuck my life. And not an improvement, half a second of his quickest lap so far. Now jumping onto the provisional pursuit, Nico Sundström is, as of right now, the only person who's managed to do a 1 minute 23. Really killing it out there today in the new Aston Martin Vantage V8. Or rather, the only driver driving that car this season, or at least in this race. Question is though, can he find more time than a 1:23.4? That's just 2 tenths of the real life record around here set in the 2015 Grand Prix by an Audi driver. Really using all the grip that's out there in the turn 1, using all the available track space. Early turning, cutting that late apex, avoiding curbs on the inside. Not trying to get the car upset. Getting as much space as possible, using the curbs. Keeping it on the track. Now going into one of the trickiest turns, it's completely blind and you have to manage it perfectly in order to get a late apex and rather manage to oversteer on the exit there. Oh, but there seems to be a crash. Fuck my life. I don't know what to do this for, but I don't. There's now only 2 minutes left in the session and we're still finding Mikael Sundström in first position with a time of 1:23 seconds or 1 minute 23 seconds .4 pitting into or going into the pit with Yeah, McLaren car 704 in second position, roughly 6 tenths off. Then another 6 tenths in the next car in third position, Mercedes AMG car number 87, and then it really starts to get close up from third position up to seventh position. There's barely a tenth between them. Any little difference they can make in one corner will gain them a lot of positions. It's now only 38 seconds left in the session. This is most likely going to be Callum with its last lap, so let's see if he can improve on it.
Fuck my life. I sound like such a fucking...
Callum has done an excellent job throughout this qualifying session, and he really needs to find on time in the third sector. That's where he's losing roughly 7 tenths to the leader. And that's the qualifying session over with Nico Sundstrom in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage car 62 in first position with a time of 1 minute 23 seconds and 4. In second position we find a Lexus driven by Hans van Dierville, car number 23. In third position we find a McLaren 720S GT3, car 704, Audi R8 LMS Evo, car 5 in fourth position. And then we find another McLaren 720S GT3, car number 710. In fifth position, we find Mercedes, car 87 and 4 in position 6 and 7, driven by Schoenfeld and Hewitt. And then in eighth position, we find the first Porsche, the Porsche 911 GT3, car 762. And thereafter, we find another McLaren 720S GT3, car number 702. And then in 10th position, we find Tom Roberts driving the Ferrari 488 GT3, car 52. Then after there, we find the Porsche 911 GT3, car 54. Ferrari 488 GT3, car 333. Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo, car 63. And a McLaren 720S GT3 in the last position 701. We are joining on board with Lars Nielsen on McLaren 720S GT3, car 702 for the formation lap. There will be a full formation lap before the race starts up with 45 minutes. Formation lap will be a crucial point in whether or not you get your tyres at the temperature. It's a relay track which favours, like every other track, hot tyres rather than cold tyres. Managing to get your tyres out right into the correct temperature will really help you to gain time in the first few sectors where it's all about the grip. Looking out of Lars Nielsen's windshield, we can see that the tyre preparation is already beginning. The cars are starting to wiggle left and right, and wiggle left and right. Further up in the field we find Patrick Brown on 5th position, driving the McLaren 720S GT3 as well as car number 710. All fiercely trying to get those temps into the size. This is not a track where you want to start with the cold tyres. Especially not with a car full load of fuel in order to make
we
those
have
qualifying
a driver without a HUD, so you need to flash him whenever you pass him. It's the blue McLaren in the number 702.
Interesting message coming through from the race rate. The car number 702 is having a working HUD.
Is what I'm doing.
Roughly half the lap left now to reach the finish straight.
What am I even doing? Fuck my life. How's it work?
They're all now lined up in double fast, moving on to the finish straight.
Green light, give it all you got.
And off they go. Relatively clean start so far. Lexus going off into the sand, while Aston Martin drives off into the distance. The Lexus of Hans van der Wild and the car number 63 for Lamborghini Huracan GT3, we're going to wide through the hairpin. I believe that's car 710, Patrick Roux going off there in the distance. The black and the purple one, the McLaren 720S GT3. Porsche getting off like I see the McLaren, oh, Mercedes up ahead. Moving back to field, we find Hans van der Villen, who I believe started P3, now down to P9, working his way up through the field. I believe it was called Max. Yeah, he did. He went off the first corner. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to be able to recover that throughout the race. He's already gained one position, passing car 701 maybe into the hairpin. He got the inside line, which is a favourite line through here, and he's passed easily. Moving backwards in the field, we find Patrick Crouch, who also went off into the barrier early on into the race. There's 44 minutes or 42 minutes left out of the race, and hopefully he hasn't gotten any damage. And all of a sudden, Will Coates is getting a 50-second stop and go penalty. Car 54 finding himself in 4th position. Here's how his start went. Maybe there's something going wrong here. Getting a lot of positions on the inside. Fuck my life. Nico in 3rd position now, it's a gap of roughly 3 seconds back to the McLaren 704 in 2nd position, and just streaming up into the distance. Looking at the very back of the field, we find Tom Roberts, car 52 Ferrari 4AA GT3, at the very back.
Fuck my life. Fuck my absolute life. This is absolutely hell. Has this thing died? Probably has, yeah.
We once again find the Lexus of Hans van der Villen jumping through the field, now behind another McLaren of Lars Nienben, who's managed to jump himself up from P9 all the way up to P7 before going off and nearly hitting Lexus there. And he is dead. I'm sure he won't be happy about that. So after running into the gravel in the first turn in the first corner, Hans van der Villen, the third or fourth lap again, find himself making a mistake, or well, not him making a mistake, but finding himself in the opposite direction. He's now from the 12th position. Fuck my life. The session best lap time so far is 1 minute 24.3, set by the leader, Nico Sintra. Fuck my life. And once again we see the car number 702, driven by Lars Nienberg, making a mistake and turning his car around again. Luckily this time there doesn't seem to be any other people included in the accident. Here we have what happened early on when Lars went wide or lost the control of the back end through the car and then sadly hit Hans as well as him. Seems that Lars Nienben has stopped by the wall.
Fuck my life. Fuck my life. Never do that again. Jumping to the front again because Ultram is continuing to build up his gap. He's now at a 5-second gap to drive the third position, 5.3 to drive in second position, which is the McLaren driver 704. Checking up with Will again, he still has his 15-second stop and go penalty which he has to serve. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be pitting for it or not. Oh fuck no. Oh. Why am I so retarded? I can never dig that. And Williams lost it for the first corner, really drifted that Porsche 911 GT3. I can't imagine it being an easy car to drive around here with the engine being mounted so far behind. And it's going to be a really tricky drive for him as well as Helge in the other Porsche 762 with how the Porsche is built up with the fuel tank in the front and the engine in the rear, because throughout the whole race the balance is going to be swifting and changing in that car, so if you get any damage then it's going to change even more. It's going to be a really unpredictable car but really quick car, so if he can manage to find a balance and not push it too much, will can very well get up to a higher position than he currently is in. In fourth position we find the Mercedes-AMG GT3 car, number 87, closing the gap up to Tim Hilger off the driving the Porsche 762. Roughly 3/10 between them now and they go into the hairpin. Jumping further back in the field, we find Calm Hewitt, Calm Mercedes 4, just spinning around in out of the turn. This really has been an interesting race so far. Not favouring a lot of drivers. A lot of drivers who qualified high has made a lot of mistakes, and drivers starting further in the back has managed to get themselves further up than they were before. If the drivers were to finish in this order that they were right now, I can assure you that race 2 as a reverse grid will be very interesting. Having a lot of quick drivers in the front. No, I'm confused. We've now driven around 10 minutes so far of this 45 minute race. We're now on lap 7. Jumping up again into the field, we still find the car, or the Mercedes 87, still being stuck behind a Porsche, trying to find his way through, but really can't find any way to go for it as of now. The Porsche driven by Chris and the Mercedes AMG 8 car 87 driven by Chris in 3rd and 4th position right now, doing essentially equal times. Times within the same temperature, and this is probably going to be a long battle. Brands Hatch is not an easy track to go for an overtake, and you really need to have that advantage somewhere. And as of right now, it doesn't seem like any of these cars have an advantage over each other in one single sector. Utilizing all the track that's possible. Chris running wider. Focusing further up in the field, we find Erkama driving the McLaren 720S GT3 car 7 of 4, doing last lap of 1 minute 27.3, which isn't that great. Probably made a mistake considering the fact that drivers behind him are doing low 125, 126 in worst case. Trying to chase off Mikkelsen, who now 9 laps into the race has managed to build up a lap of 12 seconds, which is astonishing. Quickest lap is still held by Mikkelsen now at the 124.3, same as earlier. No need really to push harder than that. It's got a gap of 12 seconds, and just keeping it on track will probably win a race instead of trying to push even harder. Hans and Callum still fighting their way through the field after multiple accidents they've involved in. Interesting to see that both of them don't see damage. They are doing essentially the same lap time as top three, or from 2nd to 4th position are currently doing, and if they keep this up, they're probably going to be able to get up there. Keeping the tensions high, both doing low 125s, probably within the 10th of each other. Oh, Calm running a little bit wide up ahead. He might be in for a position of losing his position up ahead. If Hans managed to get a good run through the last corner, he can probably try to snatch the inside line through the first corner, or the inside line through the hairpin, or either the outside line and going around with high speed and getting the inside line for the next one. And he run wide, just like he did on the first lap, losing
all the momentum there, and all the pace you just built up and close the gap up, your calendar now completely gone. He's going to have to redo it again. Jumping back up the field, it seems that Chris isn't able to keep up with Porsche. Tim, car 762, running wide out of essentially every single corner right now, cutting grass and losing momentum. Just as Porsche does up ahead, maybe he'll be able to catch up now. And just behind Chris, I believe we find Tom Roberts, car 52 for I-48, which currently is one lap behind everyone else, so he's a lap car. He's going to have a tough race. I am starting to get a little bit worried for Chris though. We're only roughly nearly 20 minutes into the race now, and there's another 27 minutes to go, and according to what I know from my experience, it's starting to show a little bit of sense of fatigue, going wide here and there, not utilising the track to the fullest here and there. Hopefully that isn't the case, and he'll be able to keep this fourth position, which he's currently holding, or even better, he knows what happens up ahead. And it seems that Hans has managed to get himself around Callum or something. We now find Hans up in 6th position and Callum down to 7th position. Here we got a replay of what happened. No one really taking the ideal line through the first corner. Hans trying to build up a little more momentum going out of the hairpin. Running smoothly through the third corner. And there we have it, Callum just runs wide. Going out of one of the most trickiest corner on the track, which is understandable at this point. Having that much pressure behind you is not easy, and the fact that Callum managed to keep it on the track for that long without making an error like that, that's astonishing. Now though, Hans will be the one having the pressure on him compared to Callum having the pressure on him, and we all know that it's easier to hunt rather than get hunted. It'll be interesting therefore to see if Hans manages to keep that position or not. We can already see here that Hans, or the gap between Hans and Callum started to close compared to what we saw in the replay. Checking back up with Eric Muffin himself, still in 2nd position now, 15 seconds behind the leader, Marcus Lindstrom, and then driving the Aston Martin 62 advantage V8. Last lap did a 125.9, not too bad, not too good. Although we are finding Tim Helger driving the new Porsche added recently as well, the car 762, starting to close the gap to Helger. Now only 3 seconds behind.
isn't really much going on at the moment. We have Callum and Hans fighting an hour, well, following each other and putting pressure on each other. But other than most, it's not really a lot going on at the moment. Kamal seems to be losing around half a lap or half a second to a second each lap to the leader, while Tim Hilgeld is suddenly starting to catch up with Ekman. He knows maybe the tyres have gone for Ekman already, while the Porsche maybe went for his strategy of having the less optimal tyre in the beginning of the race and focusing more on the end, or maybe the balance all of a sudden Porsche's come to Till Hilgeld, how he wasn't qualifying now when the tank suddenly runs lower and lower. We also find Chris all of a sudden he's starting to close the gap again to Tim in third position. Hans and Colin still finding it out, or be close to each other.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
New personal lap was just set by Patrick Rowe. Car 710 did a personal best in 1 minute 25.8. Looking through the field, there's nothing really still going on, and this will most be the next battle coming up. Tim gaining those few extra hundreds of a second, so 1/10 or 2 per lap, getting closer and closer to Ekman. Chris behind isn't really able to keep up, he's starting to lose time again. He's not really keeping up that consistency that well, and well, some laps he's there, other laps he's not. From this angle, you can easily see all of the elevation changes up and down. We go all the time on this 3.9 kilometer long circuit, which funnily enough only has 9 turns. It seems like it has a lot more than that, but there's only 9 turns. Really using the track then and sitting back here, using all available curve there. That's really important that if you go too far, then that will just hurt you instead. Moving further back in the field, we still find ourselves focusing on Callum and Hans, still cursing up in each other all the time. Now it's just roughly 3 seconds between them, and but while Hans opens up inside the Callum, going down the long straight. We've been to see if Hans is going to decide to cover the inside and get a better or worse exit, or if he's just going to go for it. And he's not giving a crap about the cars behind. As time seems to be going up a little bit from that Lexus up ahead, getting over to mid-turn and the exit as well. Callum might be able to finish him here by the end if he manages to keep his tires low. Because this really isn't the track where you be able to, where you want to manage all this here. This is the track where you just want to put down the throttle and hopefully car to do it. Further down in the field we find the car of Nico Kramer in 11th position, Audi R8. Car number 5 jumping through the field just over to the car number 63 Lamborghini. And in front of him we are seeing the leader, Nico Sundström, now 21 laps into the race, 14 minutes ago, and a gap of maybe 25 seconds, I'd assume at this point. .3 seconds, that's a big gap in 21 laps. Nearly 1 second per lap quicker than the point second. Focusing on the leader again, it's astonishing. We're now 22 seconds into the lap and he's still doing essentially the same times as his personal best. Just the last lap he just did was just 4/10 of his quickest lap. He's nearly driving 1 second to 2 seconds quicker than everyone else on the field right now. That's astonishing. Being able to keep the tyres alive, being consistent around this track, where if you just go off once, you are gonna get penalized for it, and you're gonna get out of that grid. The long-lasting battle between Hans and Callum still seems to be going on. Hans still stuck behind Callum, not happy about that after he lost position to Callum when he made a mistake. Going out of the turn, they're now entering. Hopefully, or maybe he's hoping for Callum to do the same mistake as he did. Although Hans seems to be the one who was struggling to rear Tiger.
Looking through the field, we still find Nico Sundström in the AMR of the A1 GT3 in first position, car 62 Aston Martin. Second position, we find Ekema, McLaren 720S GT3, car 7 of 4, everyone so far still on the same lap. Then we find Tim Hilger, Porsche 911 to GT3 in third position, heavily closing up to Ekema, just 1.2 seconds behind him now. Then in fourth position we find Chris driving the Mercedes AMG GT3 car number 87. Starting to lose the grip of third position. He was getting closer and closer earlier, but now it seems he started lost of grip, or the tyres have just gone out of the window for him. In fifth position we find Patrick Brown, the Mercedes Auction McLaren 720S GT3, car 710, made a few positions. In sixth position and seventh position we find Callum and Hans with the Mercedes AMG GT3 and Lexus RCF GT3, continuously fighting and pressuring each other to go quicker and quicker. Hans, who started in P3, made a mistake on the first lap and is now down to 7th after being down to, I believe, last position there for a moment, being involved in several accidents, but seemingly doesn't seem to have any damage because he's doing the same lap as everyone else around the track, and if he does have damage then that's astonishing driving as well. In 8th position we find a Ferrari 4AA GT3, number 333, not really keeping up with the guys ahead, just stacking behind there. In 9th position we find Tom Roberts, Ferrari 488 GT3, the first driver to be more than a lap behind the leader and has already been lapped. Behind him we find Nico Kramer driving the Audi R8 LMS Evo, also been lapped 1 lap behind. Then after that we find the one and only Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo, car number 63, also a lap behind. And in last position we find Lars Nienberg, who on the third lap sadly crashed into the wall and has not been able to continue the race. Well, Hans is still trying to battle Callum, Callum now seems to have the upper hand. He's managed his size better. We can easily see that Hans is really struggling with oversteer now in the mid turns and out of the turns as well, which is really going to hurt you around here in Brands Hatch. We also see that Tim Hilger is now closing up to Ackermann in second position, now only 1 second off. That's close as he's been so far in this race. Now only half a second. Jumping on board here, going through the first cone, going into the hairpin. If Tim's tyre wear isn't too bad, considering the fact that he has that engine in the rear, I really think he's going to be able to get past it. If his tyre wear is too bad, he's not going to have a good traction out here. But it seems that he's managing the traction pretty well and getting Emily closer to Ackermann. I just think it's a matter of a few laps before he's passing into second position. With only around 4 minutes left in the race, we're still finding Tim behind Ekema, really closing the gap now, entering the last few cars of the track, and maybe we'll have the run on the start-finish rate in the first corner. Really goes down, he got about 2 tenths, and if he's going to be able to make the good exit out of this corner, not get compromised by Ega covering the inside line, he can very well dive on the inside. With that Porsche having to train brake a lot more than other cars, he can really utilise that in this here. And as of right now, he's actually past Ekema. Now we'll need to see if he's going to be able to make the turn or not. And it seems he does. He's now ahead of Ekema in second position with only 3 minutes and 24 seconds left in the race. Now the question is if he's going to be able to keep that position or if Ekema is going to have something to put against him. Tim hasn't really had a lot of pressure from behind this so far, except for the moments with Chris, which only lasted a few laps. So having 3 minutes left in the race with Ekema behind him is going to be stressful, and if he can keep it on the track, I believe he's going to be able to get home second position.
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
Just witness Tim Hilgate going wide into the turn there, letting Ekema pass, and I did say if he managed to keep it on the track, he would keep the position, but he didn't, and Ekema that's now second position again, and he's on the high pressure of Chris, and it's going to be interesting to see how thirsty Chris is, because they're really battling for finishing podium position now, and, well, let's see who gets it. Last lap, one single mistake, and Aida, the driver, will take the third position. Every single turn now counts. Well, Tim and Chris are still battling out. Sundström in the Aston Martin 62 just won the race, 32 laps, and probably going to go in, or probably going to have a lead of 25 seconds by now in the race. And with that, it seems that Tim is going to be able to keep the third position. Chris is going to end up in fourth, coming in second. And Hans somehow has managed to make his way up to fifth position after all his errors. nearly getting kicked out there by Callum. Let's see what happened there. Going too wide here, and yeah, Callum just getting out on the grass too much, and yeah, nearly took himself and the other guy out. And with that, it seems race 1 is over and done. Final finishers are Michael Sundström in first position with Aston Martin. Then we have Akamo with 720S in second position. Tim Hill again third position. Chris in fourth position. Hans in fifth position. Callum in sixth position. We have the Ferrari 488 GT3 number 333 in seventh position. Tom Robertson 488 GT3 car 52 in eighth position. Nico Kramer in the Audi R8 LMS Evo in ninth position. And then we have the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo in 10th position, and then retired license in 11th position. Hello and welcome to the second race of the evening. Today we are watching the second race, and this is a race on reverse order. So driver starting third, or the driver that finished in first position last race will be starting last, and the driver finishing in last position on track will be starting first. If you were disqualified, retired, or did not finish the race, you'll be starting at the back. We're now joined on the formation lap as the drivers are trying to warm up their tyres, really cold track conditions, and they have roughly half a lap to do so before it lights out and they go over the finish line into the first corner. So in first position we find the Lamborghini car number 63. In second position we find the Audi R8 LMS Evo, driven by none other than Nico Kramer. Why people not there is because they retired from the race and the race leader seems to have gone into the wall. Fairly sure Daniel Merchant is not going to be happy about that. The tyres are really cold, as you can see, because they're literally going off the track, and it's going to be a really chaotic turn 1, I believe. Drivers are now starting to line up 2 by 2, preparing for the light to go out and going racing. Race start is initialized and the lights are out, it's green, and the drivers are putting. Everyone getting through nice and cleanly through the first corner, no one going off the turn. And that is car number 333 going into the inside of Tom Roberts. We now have car number 333 in second position, chasing off the Lamborghini 63. Now fighting for the lead, and it seems that car 333 may have even gotten past and is now in the lead from starting in third position. We have a new leader of car number 333 for I4A GT3. Checking through the field, we can in first position see the Ferrari 4AA GT3 car number 333. In second position we can see the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evolution car 63. In third position we find Tom Roberts, the car 52 Ferrari 4A GT3. In fourth position we already find Callum Hewitt, Mercedes 4. Really quick drive from last race, and in this case he's probably going to get past this within a few laps and going to take the lead. But the interesting fact, we'll see if either these drivers can keep him behind them, or if the leader or the winner from the last race is going to be able to catch through the field and get up in first position again. Because I believe the fight for the victory in this race is going to be between Callum, Hans, Mikael, who won the last race, and possibly also Chris or Tim. Looking further back in the field, we see that Hans is getting caught up with Erkema in the McLaren 720S, finishing in second position last race. They started to form a gap between Hans and Callum, which we didn't really see this early on into the last race, only really when his tyres started to go off. And if Erkema and Mikael behind that, who finished in third position, doesn't get past either Erkema or Hans, then I think that Mikael is going to be in the shot to win this race. Time is precious, especially when it's reverse grid. Focusing further up ahead on Callum. We see that he's starting to get awfully close to Tom Roberts, car 52. Tom decides to take the inside, Callum's going to go on the outside. Probably not the smartest move, and he's probably not going to get past here, but he could try something into the hairpin, getting better acceleration out here, and Tom is closing it. And that is the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 63 off, and Hans is taking time to go past Callum, and it's an excellent move done by him, utilising his on-track events to get an advantage and get past the St. Louis Ekema. Car 704 now passing Callum, or maybe he's coming back into the inside. Hans is slowly but surely starting to pull off a bit, as well as Callum and Archimedes are starting to get away from the pact, and yeah. Focusing on Nico, you can see that he's starting to lose precious time here, stuck behind the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 car 63 driven by David Merchant. It's really crucial that he starts to get past if he wants to keep up with Callum, Akama and Hans up ahead if he wants to be able to be in for the fight later on in the race. Every single lap he spends behind his Lamborghini is going to hurt him by maybe a second or so, and those seconds are not going to be easy to catch up. We know that he has the speed, but we don't know if Callum or Hans has the speed either, because suddenly both of them had damage last lap or last race and did a fairly good job. Although it seems that Nico is starting to get more and more traction out here, and he's starting to put the pressure on David, showing himself on the inside and possibly could force him into a mistake, and here he managed to squeeze himself on the inside. He does still though have this outside line into the last corner here, and unless David is friendly, which he now is, and breaks earlier, it wasn't really going to be up the line, but it seems that Nico has now managed to get him past, and now you'll simply do the pedal to the metal and catch up with the rest in front. Focusing on the top line, we can see that Tom Roberts is starting to get caught by Hans and the Callum for that matter as well. It doesn't seem like Tom is able to keep up with the Ferrari of the 333 ahead of him. Well, I'll say that Callum has been able to find some extra grip on Hans taking the inside line, which is going to help him on the going into the turn, but he's going to lose traction on the outside and could possibly be under attack by Erkan. Tom's starting to get under a lot of pressure by Hans here. Hans getting good traction, but isn't going to be able to get past into the corner and will possibly lose time and maybe even position the Callum now side by side. It's crucial that Hans managed to get around to Tom Robert as quickly as possible if he wants to try and keep his position ahead of Callum, because if he doesn't, then Callum is simply gonna try and get past somehow. With that, Hans just spun Tom Roberts around and has lost 2 positions as well as kicked the drive out of the field. With that, we now find Hans down in 5th position, while Callum Helmet is now in 3rd position and Akama is now in 4th position, with Nico just behind Hans. Tom Roberts also seems to have gotten some damage, doing an extra spin going out of the hairpin. And yeah, race hasn't really gone Tom's way really. And yeah, that seems to be something seriously wrong with that car, getting oversteered out of every single corner. Don't think he can continue with that without pitting. Is a replay of what happened. Nearly hit the Lamborghini there as well when entering onto the track. And yeah, Tom Roberts really isn't having a great day today. Focusing on last Nürburgring car 702, which on 3 laps ago in the last race retired on this lap, finding himself in 7th position, now losing position to Tim Hilger, guy finishing in 3rd position. Could have gotten 2nd if he wouldn't have made a mistake. Charging his way up through the field, still far away behind Callum Hans and Mikel, as well as Ekema, which really are the ones that fighting for the victory in this race, and I think he's going to struggle to get into the podium this race. Focusing on Lars, so if he keeps up this pace, I'm fairly sure he's going to be able to get himself further up into the field, probably get past David, and be able to clinch that 6th position. Focusing on our race leader, we have Eddie in the 1st position, driving the 333 Ferrari, doing last lap at 126.1, which isn't really that impressive considering the fact that track conditions haven't really changed from early on, and our previous winner, Mikel, managed to do one consistent 124s each lap, and the same with Callum, who now seems to have gotten the drive-through penalty. Which he will have 2 laps to finish or to serve, and if it doesn't, that will be an 80-second penalty, which is clearly going to ruin his race, better than drive-through penalty will. And it also seems that Hans has gotten the drive-through penalty. Don't know why though, but they have. Which, unless they do some kind of miracle, most likely if they Callum and Hans out of the fight for the lead or the win here, and could potentially allow the race to finish exactly like it did last race, with Mikel in 1st, Ackermann in 2nd, and possibly we could have another guy in 3rd. Maybe David will be able to find some pace this race and keep the 3rd position that he's provisionally holding right now when these 2 people will eventually go into the pit and serve their penalty. Focusing further back in the field, we find Chris driving the Mercedes-AMG GT3 car number 87 in 9th position. Chris nearly managed to snap podium position there in the last race, but doesn't really seem to have the pace this race. He's doing 125.5s, which are decent, but he just seems to be way too far off from the rest of the pack. Maybe he had an accident during the 1st lap or so, but don't think he belongs to being this far behind everyone else. And Callum now hitting rather the car number 333 off Eddie through the corners, and that's essentially damaged his car most likely and gone off the track into the barriers. And with the drive-through penalty as well, probably damaged by this point, and probably some anger in that car. I really don't think he's gonna be able to fight for any valid position in this race, really. Hans still might have a chance though, but still have this drive-through penalty to serve, which he now goes in to serve. Which leaves us with Mikel once again up in 1st position, with Kamal once again in 2nd position, but this time we have Eddie driving the car Ferrari 488 GT3 number 333 in 3rd position, with once Hans and Callum has served their penalties and gone out. We now find David driving the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evolution, Number 63 in 4th position, with Tim Hilger in 5th position, driving the Porsche 911 GTR3. Hans, now once rejoined on the track after serving his pits or drive-through penalty, finds himself in 6th position, around 4 seconds behind the Tim Hilger, and not too bad considering the fact that he doesn't have any damage, and he could probably potentially get himself up to a podium position. I don't believe he's going to be able to win this race. He may be quick, but Mikael is also a really quick driver, and unless he makes an error, or Ackermann for that fact, because Ackermann may still be in for the fight, Hans is not going to get okay. Focusing further up in the field, we have Eddie driving the car 333 in 3rd position, finding himself in an empty space right now. Following behind Erkama, roughly 1.6 seconds, and could possibly up for fighting for it, because it's in 125.6, which isn't too bad of a time. We managed to make his tyre last, and we did see that Erkama did a few mistakes last race, and he just did again here, running a bit wide through the hairpin. Eddie could sure and well be up to fight there with Erkama and possibly gain a 2nd position so far in the race. Although, as of saying that, Akama or Eddie also missed apex a little bit there and went wide, which is going to cost him 10 to do. Looking further back in the field, Tim Hilger, driving the Porsche 760s, managed to get past David Merchant in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evolution 63. Now he only needs to catch up with Eddie if he's going to be able to get onto that podium. Callum has now served his driver penalty and finds himself in 8th position, 2 positions behind Hans. Not a lot going on at the moment. Everyone is really just settling in for the long race, finding their pace, managing the tyres, making sure that they don't overheat, making sure that they don't get cold, managing the pressures. Looking a bit further up the field, we find Hans starting to catch up with David as well. Now only 1.3 seconds behind him, and will probably be able to make a move within the next 3 or 4 laps, as I said.
doing a personal best last round, make it doing a 125.1, fairly quick, only around half a second off the leader, who's currently in clear space, not really having to think about anything else in the lap once. And Callum has now seemingly made his way past David and can now start to catch up with Tim Hilger, roughly 5 seconds ahead of him. Still not a lot happening in the grid. The grid ain't that's happening. We can see here Hans pulling away from David, gaining a lot of time in each sector, really using the tracks to maximum. They're going wide a little bit here and there, using the grass for that extra grip. Looking at the leader, it's Mikael Sundström again in the Aston Martin Vantage V8 GT3 car number 62 already, and still down to the low 124.5 and personal best of 124.279, which is essentially exactly the same as last race. Having a gap of roughly 8 seconds as of now to Ackermann's second position.
In second position, we still have Erkma, just as the first race, and just as the first race, he seems to be losing around 1 second a lap as well to Mikkel. The gap between them is getting bigger and bigger for each lap. Interestingly enough, Lars seems to have decided to make a pit stop. Don't know why, but probably picked up some damage somehow, or maybe his tires got screwed up somehow and he was forced into changing them, or just wanted a new pair of tires. Still remains in 10th position and last. Behind him and third overall, we find Tim Hilger, currently doing essentially the same time as Erkman. At this pace, we won't be able to see him catching up with Erkman, having a gap of around 13 seconds. Seems like this is going to be the final order. There's now 60 minutes left of the race, but no one really seems to be gaining on anyone really. Every single driver seems to have at least a gap of maybe 4 to 8 seconds between each other. Hans not really being able to put in any better, doing a best of 124.8, and last lap doing a mistake, costing him a lot of time, doing a 128.9. Didn't receiving those drive-through penalties race for Hans, and Callum has really dived down from there. It's been jumping off a cliff. Looking further back in the field, we find David Merchant, who started in 3rd position, now down to 5th position. Doing 127.6 last time with a personal best of 126.2. Not really the quickest times out there, but the gaps between the cars are just so that big. Just so big, so he's probably gonna be able to clinch on for the 5th position for the rest of this race.
And with that, David Merchant has managed to spin out going out of the last corner and having to burn off those tyres, which is not going to be optimal. And with that, he loses 5th position to Eddie Semenova in the car 333, which is now clinched 5th position. We can also see in the distance that Chris Ibrahim in the Mercedes AMG GT3 car number 87 is starting to close up as well. And doing those running wide and then going wide out on the grass and having to spin those rear tyres up is really going to affect the tyre pressure and the temperature in those tyres, and he's probably not going to be able to get those down for a good few laps. So if Chris managed to put on the pressure, he's probably going to be able to get around a few laps. Chris getting closer and closer to David. And Chris's pass off to David makes a mistake out of the turn. Chris has now also managed to get himself up to 5th position, clinching past Eddie Semenov, driving the 333 Ferrari. There's now only 8 minutes after the race, and you can clearly see the 87 Mercedes as well as the Ferrari behind it. The tyre wear is really starting to kick in now. The rear end really starting to slide out most of these corners. And Chris has gone on the grass, but isn't really going to lose any time at that. He didn't lose control of the car, which is a phenomenally good job of him. And with that, the gap between him and Eddie is slowly but surely starting to close down, and Chris so far is starting to push really hard, as you can see, really using all the track limits, if not even a bit more there. So well, Chris is pushing really hard to either try and keep his position or to try and catch with Hans up ahead. This could end up badly, considering the fact that the tyres are starting to wear out, fuel is starting to get low, and yeah, this could possibly force him into an error if he keeps pushing like this, putting nearly half the car out on the grass at some time, because at some point the grass is gonna bite him back. With 5 minutes left looking through the field, we find Mikael Sundström once again up in first position, having a gap of probably 17 seconds down to Erkema, and we once again find Erkema in second position after starting at nearly way back, as the same with Mikael, and we find once again Tim Hilger driving the Porsche 912 GT3R in third position, now this time 5 seconds behind Erkema. In fourth position we find Hans, in fifth position we find Chris, and in sixth position we find Eddie driving the Ferrari 488 GT3. In seventh position we find David Merchant, in eighth position we find Callum Hewitt, and in ninth position we find Tom Roberts, and at the very back we find Lars Nienberg.
with 4 minutes ago and not real on-track action happening or anyone really closing the gap to each other except for Eddie losing time to Chris ahead and Hans keeping up with the same pace that Tim is doing, which is really going to get him any closer. The only battle we could expect to happen is a battle between Tim in third position, which isn't going to happen because it's now 16 seconds or so behind the Ekema. So what we're seeing right now is probably going to be final race result unless someone makes a mistake.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it all you can.
With not a lot of actions happening on the track, details of the short that looks crazy. With that, the race is now Nikel's should go in different position, and most likely unless he crashes, Ekman will take the second position. Ekman now in here, second position. Tom about to end, Tim about to end the last going on the finish straight. Hans not probably too confident either, but they got to finish line in pole position. Most likely to Chris. Chris on their view. Just that it's going in 5th position. 1 position behind where he finished last race. Eddie not needing too much further behind either. It's at 6th position. Behind him, we find David is into the stop and go penalty of 10 seconds. And in the pit as well, we find Calvin here with 8th position. And then after that, we find Tom Roberts and taking up the last 2 to the grid. Also moving into the grid. And with that, this are done and dusted with 3 solid performances by Nico Sundström, Akamba, and Tim Hilger, managing to claim the exact same position, 2 different races starting in 2 completely different positions. Starting from the front, Nico managed to keep 1st position. Starting from the very back, he managed to claim 1st position again. Same goes for Akamba and Tim Hilger, except that Tim Hilger needed to follow through the field and able to get to his position. Akama got into position in the first race. Hans went off into the sand. Not really that much of a good race for Hans. Callum either, being involved in several accidents, doing fatal driver errors, forcing out wide off the track and losing a lot of time and momentum. If most of those things wouldn't have happened, the driver would have probably been a bit different by this point. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching tonight's stream and races and on to the next races coming up in the next few weeks. Have a great evening.